Hello everyone, this is Joanna. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And for those of you who are new, welcome, and I hope you stay here and I hope you like what you hear. These are going to be your messages for the month of October. I have made a point on most of the videos to be very vocal about what my intention is with these messages. And I was actually asked by my spiritual team to let you know what that intention is and the purpose for why I do this. And the main reason why I do this for you, why I give you messages, is to give you tools and understandings so that you can apply it in your life in a way that allows you to feel freer, to feel much more empowered, to feel less stuck, to feel much happier. So that is what my intention is with every single message that I receive from Spirit. So whether you are a Taurus or whether you are Virgo, whether you are Scorpio or some other sign, whatever comes through these messages for you, they're meant to make you think, they're meant to make you stop and pause, and they're meant to make you reevaluate perhaps some things in your life. That also means that the focus isn't as much on predictions, and the basic idea for it, or the main reason for it, is the predictive component of your future is very much tied to you and who you are as a person and what your beliefs are. So for me to say this is going to happen is very much dependent on where you're at. And I think most of you get that. But my greatest joy and my greatest wish for you is always to hear that my messages help you, because they help you stop and think, and as a result of that you reevaluate some things, you shuffle some things in your mind, and you begin to have a brand new perspective which changes your perception of everything. So that is my intention for you, and it's important that I say this to you so that when you listen to this, you may say, that's not for me, I want to know what's going to happen. Or you may say, this is exactly for me because I want to know what's preventing me from certain things in my life. These messages, as you notice, are coming early for you. I will try to make it a habit of making them early. It is not the easiest task with my full plate, but I will do the best I can. I am also going to be offering live sessions on YouTube, so stay tuned. And I will do my best to do one in October. So stay tuned. This will be, I will let you know. And as always, thank you so much for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. Without you, I always say, I wouldn't do this. And it brings me great joy and great happiness to see your comments on how my messages help you. And I think that's all I have. I hope you enjoy these. Of course, if it doesn't make sense to you at the beginning of when you hear it, listen to it towards the end of the month. You guys tell me that more often than not, it applies to you way more. So without further ado, let's get moving. Hello, beautiful Sagittarians. These are going to be your messages for the month of October 2018. I just got the month of May in my mind. I don't know how May connects with you, but perhaps May has some special significance to you. If that makes sense to you, great. If it doesn't, it's not meant for you. And I don't think I'm talking about next May 2019. I'm talking about May in general as a month that has significance to you. Let me tune into, okay, I'm supposed to say happy birthday. Do you guys have happy birthdays? Do you have happy birthdays in October? Yes, you do. No, actually, do you? Sagittarius. No, you have, oh, okay, you have it in November. I don't know why I had said happy birthday. That's interesting. If anyone around you has a birthday in October, happy birthday to this person. Don't know who that is. For some of you, it's your mother. But that's going to be for some of you. All right. When I was meditating on you, when I was focusing on your energy, I kept seeing several things. Number one, I kept being shown the Eight of Cups, which is my symbol of letting me know that there is a need for you to walk away from something, emotionally speaking. It's time to leave some things behind. Does this signify you needing to move on from something? Yes and no. Not necessarily with this image, but because you do have Six of Swords, it's telling me you're moving on. And you're moving on from challenging times. So for some of you, you might be choosing to move on from a certain situation, but for many of you, you're choosing to move on from challenging times. I'm being asked to say the word choosing is important. Why? Because it implies that you are making an effort to do something different for yourself, and you are no longer choosing to be a victim. That's how I'm being asked to say this. Now, I also saw full moon, and it symbolizes to me several things. Number one, it's the feminine power. So this is for those of you who have felt slightly uncentered when it comes to your feminine power. It could be that you as a woman don't feel significant enough, you as a woman don't feel important enough, or you as a man choose to push down your emotions or push down your creative side, push down your more feminine, nurturing side, and it's time to bring it back to surface again. For others of you, this is about, the full moon is about facing your fears. When the moon is out, we see our shadows, and shadows are usually the things that we tend to stay away from because they're very scary. But the moment you put light or you shine light on a shadow, it becomes shadow no longer. So there's a distinct feeling of you needing to move on from something. For a lot of you, this is going to be something very personal, internal. I'm going to leave it at that. Another message here, as I'm getting the number 3. It's 3. Why 3? Something about the full moon and 3. So whenever you're listening to this, I am recording this at the in the middle of September. But whenever you're listening to this, it could be that in the next 3 weeks, there will be a full moon, and it would be important for you to have some sort of a full moon, full moon ceremony. This is something that perhaps you practice on regular basis, and it's something that's important for me to mention. And for those of you who don't know, just notice what full moon ceremonies are. I actually don't know. So that's interesting. And but I'm hearing here, full moon is what brings things to completion. So I'm not an astrologer. I don't know. I'm actually going to have to look it up later. But if that's the case, you might want to make some resolutions around the next full moon in order to uncomplicate your life. Again, looking at, just going to get back here, looking at the shadows. There are those of you who are choosing to escape your situations because you're not either willing to look at something square on, or you're afraid of what might happen if you do. So this speaks very much to the shadow self, which we all have. Every single one of us has shadows. But our shadows are the aspects of us that keep us stuck. For some of us, our shadows are small, and some of our shadows are very big. The bigger the shadow, the more shadow it casts on our life. So it's important to look at some things that are your shadows, if you will, in other words, fears, to help you get unstuck from some certain situations. 3 is also March, so there may be a significance for some of you to March. Earlier it was May. And 3 months also, in the next 3 months, or until the end of this year, and I feel like I've said this to another sign, so this could be one of your other signs too. By the end of this year, you will know how this message qualifies in your life. In other words, you will know exactly what I mean. So it looks like many of you, this will transpire over the next 3 weeks, over the next 3 months. But it is important for you to remember that it's time to end a certain suffering you have been experiencing by choosing to close a certain door, and it's usually on your past. Now, the card that represents Okay, some of you have already started this process in September. I am recording this in September. So if that's the case, congratulations, keep going. Keep facing your shadows. For some of you, September comes up, but it feels like some of you are already starting to see this, or have started to see this or do this in the month of September. The card that kind of overarches the entire message is the card of single-mindedness. 3 and 7 is, it's the number 10. Again, we're talking 10 is October, yes, but 10 is end of a cycle. You actually have Wheel of Fortune, which to me, again, is an end of a cycle, and a very karmic cycle at that. So I'll get into that in just a minute. But single-mindedness, okay, he's asking me to talk about the numbers. 3, again, there's the March. 3 is the number of expansion. 7 is the number, to me, that represents heightened awareness and also a shift of consciousness. When we have heightened awareness, that comes as a result of us shifting our thinking. We then are able to expand, because all of a sudden it's like the curtains are parted and we can see much more. But more than anything, this is symbolizing coming to an end of a cycle, or needing to come to an end of a cycle, which is also what I was saying earlier, needing to let go of something. Single-minded focus is, that's what it is. You being very focused on whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish. However, part of the message is also to notice if you have been too focused on some things that are actually not working for you. And I'm being asked to give an example. Let's say you are let's say you are single and you're wanting a relationship, and you've been working on yourself for quite some time, and your pattern has been that you constantly focus on other people, because your idea is that if you focus on them, they will be happy, and therefore they'll accept you. So this speaks to you taking other people and their happiness as your responsibility. If that is what you have been focused on in the past, that is not going to give you your desired results. Why? Because for one, you can never ever be responsible for somebody's happiness. It's up to them. And number 2, it's just something you can't sustain. So notice energetically and emotionally. So notice what are some of the things that you have been single-mindedly focused on, and notice if some of these things are not giving you what you want, and maybe it's time to shift your focus. For others of you, the message is that if you are wanting to, in this example, have let's say a loving relationship, which I'm assuming that's what you would want, you need to first ask yourself, what are some of the things that I focus on? What could be some of the things that I focus on in order to bring about this happy relationship? So the focus wouldn't be going out and constantly dating other people. The focus would be making yourself feel whole inside, so that you don't feel like you need to constantly take care of other people or prove yourself, and focus on that. Make that be your single-minded focus. And as a result of that process, you will end up attracting people and relationships, and hopefully a relationship that will become very meaningful to you. So it's about looking at what you focus on. We can focus on drama, for example. We can focus on negativity. Notice if you are also focusing too much attention on negative self-talk. If you are someone who likes to appease others by putting yourself down, if you continue to do that on a regular basis, well, chances are it doesn't serve you. And also, why on earth would you want to be that way? It's not a recipe for happiness. But if you in fact have a focus on negativity, if you focus too much on what is wrong with you, on what you don't have, on what other people have but you don't, that comes from that comes from poverty thinking. And what's poverty thinking? Poverty thinking is a level of consciousness where the predominant feeling is rooted in lack. I think we all have it to some degree. That is not the biggest thing. It is to what degree we allow that to affect our life. So if you focus too much attention on the things that you don't have, if you focus too much attention on negativity, if you focus too much attention on what you think you are not good at, then chances are that's what you will keep bringing back to you. So it's about shifting what you focus on. For some of you, whatever you're dealing with right now, or will be dealing in a short while, is something that feels very familiar. If you are in a situation that feels weirdly familiar, it's time to ask yourself, how do I contribute to what I'm getting? Not from the place of blame, because that is never something that is, it's not that it doesn't make sense. It's not something that supports you, and it's not something that empowers you, but rather from the perspective of you being a powerful person, and therefore whatever you put your energies to, you will create. Now, if your focus is on things that are of negative nature, you will often prove to yourself by experiencing something that you will, let's say, is negative. So particularly if you have noticed a pattern of attracting people who betray you, attracting work, jobs, let's say, where you're not valued, attracting friendships where you are being taken advantage of. If you keep getting something that feels the same, it's time to look at the reason why, and how you contribute to it. Six of Swords, as I was mentioning at the beginning, many of you are moving on, regrettably for some of you, from something that didn't work out. This means that you are leaving something behind. For some of you, you're leaving home. For some of you, you're leaving anything that you had high hopes for, but didn't, but now have regret. For some of you, it is because it's swords. It's the conditioning. It's moving on from the old way of thinking. If you always had a certain idea, for an example, of a mate, and you had a certain checklist, go over this checklist and notice if those things are still really important to you. So there's definitely an aspect that some of you need to walk away from something. This also symbolizes to me that you are moving on towards something different and something new. Yes, there may be a sense of disappointment for some of you, but at the end of the day, it is better to, how does the saying go? Pull the plug now rather than to be stuck in it forever, and at least have a chance at happiness. In this card, there's a man here that's, on the boat, and he's pushing, I believe there's a woman here and a child. So for some of you, this could be leaving a family home. This may signify a divorce, though this is not necessarily the card that symbolizes divorce, but this is you leaving something behind. However, the Wheel of Fortune is shown, which is, as I was saying earlier, to me, first and foremost, it symbolizes an end of a chapter, an end of a cycle, and a very karmic cycle at that. For some of you, this is you leaving your old ways behind, old ways of thinking, old ways of doing things, old ways of believing. That's also what you're leaving behind. But going back to this is suggesting that for those of you who this makes sense, you have dealt with this for a long, long time. For some of you, this is going to be lifetimes. So if there is a pattern in your life that keeps repeating, and it's one that you continue struggle with, chances are you're at the brink of your evolution where you're about to be free, or I will rephrase, where you're about to set yourself free. So again, when I was talking about the full moon and you perhaps having some sort of ritual to release whatever it is that you are wanting to release, to create some sort of a culmination so that you can let it go. This card also symbolizes this. This card also traditionally symbolizes luck. What can I say? So although some of you are leaving from something that doesn't serve you, and with regret, you are moving into something that is much more prosperous, but I also feel respectful. So for some of you, you may felt disrespected for most of your life. But if that is the case for you, here's what I would invite you to think about. Do you respect yourself enough to demand respect from others? And chances are the first answer is going to be yes. But if you have been feeling disrespected most of your life, then chances are when you really dig deep inside, the respect you have for yourself is not very high. And I can always shuffle things and show you, but it's different. It's different when I'm trying to evoke it in a message like this. Point is, if that is one of your struggles, then it's something you need to look at and put an end to. Decide, for one, to have higher boundaries if respect is one of those things. You have the cheetah. So cheetah is a leaper. And what does that mean? Well, leap of faith is what comes to me first. Number one. Number two, this is all about solidifying your future by choosing to do things differently with long-term effect in mind. So this is not about hasty decisions. This is not about choosing to run away from things in order to avoid something else. This is not one of those times. Why? Because you are effectively at a culmination of a big cycle, and it's important that you leave it behind. For some of you, the cheetah symbolizes your power. It is your gut, your solar plexus, that is also connected to your second and first chakra. So your first chakras are all connected to the earth element. This is connected to our physical body. So what this is telling me is that some of you have not been feeling very safe inside your own skin. Perhaps you have not felt very confident or very secure. Perhaps your ability to create has been stunted because you have been focusing on the wrong things. For example, negatively self-talking or berating yourself, or having disrespect yourself for yourself in one way or another. Yet for others of you, this is about taking a leap forward or taking a leap of faith with regards to a brand new endeavor. For some of you, it's love, but for most of you, this is going to be a process of creation, which would be something to do with a hobby, with passion, being driven by passion, being driven by skill, being driven by the desire to create. The Lemurian era card symbolizes trusting your own feminine power. And the full moon to me also symbolizes the aspect of femininity. It's the high priestess in the traditional tarot deck. It's the intuitive aspect. So this is about trusting your intuition. This is about allowing your feminine power to come up to front, to allow yourself to feel your emotions, to allow yourself to be nurturing not only to others but also to yourself. Also, it is about giving birth to new ideas. You see this woman in this picture is pregnant. She's pregnant with brand newness. She's pregnant with newness. The crown here symbolizes her power. The more powerful we feel, the more masterful we become. That's interesting. But also, the more powerful we feel, the more chances we have at creating whatever it is that we desire, because we're deeply rooted in a fundamental belief that we can versus we can't. And last but not least, the mouse symbolizes being all over the place and forgetting what's important. So again, this is a lack of focus. Notice this little mouse is looking forward, but she's not paying attention into these beautiful lights behind her. So if your mind is all over the place, if you are wasting your time and energy on useless things in your life, on useless relationships, on useless self-talks, or whatever that fundamentally doesn't serve you, it's time to become much more in tune with your power. It's time to take leap forward. It's time to end the suffering. Again, if you've noticed a pattern that's reoccurring, ask yourself, how am I contributing to it, and choose to move on. I also hear the word liberation. So many of you will feel liberated by the end of the month, or you will be feeling liberated in the next 3 months. It's important for you to establish a very strong foundation inside yourself, and that's whether you're a Sagittarius or some other sign, but particularly for you. And how you do that is you first look in the mirror and see what's reflecting back at you. Or another way of saying it, look at your shadow self and notice what you're hiding from. Because chances are, whatever you're hiding from is the very thing that's preventing you from giving you exactly what you need. So with all that said, a month of letting go, a month of endings, not a bad one. As a matter of fact, for many of you, it's phenomenal. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable, particularly because you're not used to it, but it is absolutely met with some accomplishment moving forward. And I also want to say congratulations, because I feel like many of you have been, uncomfortable for a while. Whatever aspect of your life, hopefully not all of your life, whatever aspect that you have been struggling with over and over and over, it's important that you reflect on what was said here and see how this applies. And above all, have faith in yourself first and foremost. With that said, thank you so much for allowing me to do this for you. Always remember, my intention is to give you exactly what you need in order to help you shift and change and shift your focus. If this doesn't make sense to you right now, or when you listen to it, make sure you listen to it later on at the end of the month. For private session, of course, that information is down below for you. I wish you best of luck. Congratulate yourself for having come this far. And I think that's all I have. Best of luck, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.